In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect and set up your email in HighLevel properly so that you can start sending emails through HighLevel, because one of the magic things of HighLevel is that you can use SMS, you can use email, you can use WhatsApp, you can use GMB, you can use Facebook, Instagram Messenger. You have all these different communication channels to communicate with your clients, and we got to set it up step by step, one by one. So let's start by email, because that is one of the harder ones to set up, but no worries, once you watch this full video, you'll have it set up in no time. And again, with the help of email, you'll be able to say, once somebody submits a form on a website like a contact us form, let's send them an outward going message to that client. Once somebody does that as well, let's send an internal notification to ourselves. Once a payment is received, let's send them a receipt. Once this happens, let's do this and communicate with the customer via email. So check this out. So once you're logged into your HighLevel account, you will want to make sure that you're logged in as the correct user. And you'll want to go into settings back here on the back end, and we'll just start with my profile. Everybody, once they get set up in HighLevel, they should basically customize this my profile right here. And for email, we'll scroll all the way down and we'll go ahead and start with the email two-way sync. We'll click on Gmail or Outlook, whatever you guys are using right now. And I personally use Gmail, so I'll go ahead and connect my email, jonathan@gosmarterflow.com right here. I'll just hit continue with all of these buttons and basically agree to whatever they want me to agree to. Once you do that, you'll have signed away your soul pretty much, and you'll have connected your email. So that's what we want to see right here. And while we're at this isn't, email sending itself, but calendar is part of the email. To connect your Google Calendar right here, you'll basically want to go into integrations down here on the bottom left. And then under integrations, you'll want to sign in with Google right here. So we'll do the same for this part, and we'll just basically connect the correct Google account. We'll hit continue, agree to everything, allow everything, so they can have the rights to our house, our children, and our future. And once we do that, we will get a notification, hey, do you want to connect a Google Business Profile? If you do have a Google Business Profile, you can select that here and connect that. I'm not going to hit this drop down, but you would just hit this drop down and select the Google Business Profile and enable or disable Google Business Profile call tracking if you want to. For now, I'll just disable that, and I'll actually just X out of this, but if you do want to connect it, select something and hit connect. I'm just going to X out of this for now. But now that under integrations, my Google profile is connected, or my Gmail is connected here, I can go back to my profile. And hopefully if I scroll down here now, we should see that these calendar configurations right here are populating. So now I can hit edit here, and I can select my Google Calendar right here and hit save. And then I can also so basically this will pull in all of my calendar data, which is going to be helpful once we set up calendars. And yeah, I'll just hit save here. And then I can also check for conflicts here. And I could select different calendars that I would want to check conflicts on. As a standard, always your standard calendar from your Gmail will be selected. So this is all looking pretty good. And if you don't use Gmail calendar, you can also connect your Outlook calendar or your iCloud calendar right here, just by hitting these connect buttons and doing the same steps. And yeah, basically that was the main email integrations to get that main email two-way sync going. And so once you've done that, you can go ahead and test and see if the email works. So we can go back into the software, we can hit go back, we can go into the contacts tab, and if you have yourself as a contact already, you can just send a test email from this one email to one of your other emails. For now, I'll just go ahead and add Johnny the Nomad. That's my handle. And I'll just add my second email, my private email right here. And I'll go ahead and create this contact. And once this contact is created, we'll be brought to the contact page within the CRM. So I'm just on my own contact, and I can go ahead and send a quick test email. So I'll just put in quick test as a subject line, and I'll type in, hi, please like this video. And so now you can see the from name here, you can see the from email. This is basically what we just set up under my profile. We can see who we're sending it to, the subject line, and the words in the email. Once I hit send right here, the email will pop up right here and I can open it up by clicking on it and see the message, all the good details like that right there. And now I'm in my email, JJ Schoenberg right here, and you can see, so it was sent to jjschoenberg at Gmail from the email that we just connected, Jonathan at GoSmarterFlow.com. And yeah, everything worked perfectly. I got the subject, I got the text. And so this is how you basically set up one-to-one email. If you're sending one-off emails like this in the CRM from one contact to another and you select email and you type a message right here, this is one-to-one email. And this is perfectly fine for the beginning and it'll all be tracked within your conversations tab. So if I now go to the conversations tab here, I don't have any unread messages, but if I go under all, I can basically see all of my emails right here. Now that's done and that's good to go. Your email is set up for one-to-one communication. But power of HighLevel is having the automation set up. And so automations are larger scale email sending. And that actually pulls from this tab right here called email services. And once you go in here, they're like, hey, to boost your deliverability, you actually want to set up a dedicated sending domain. So to do larger email sending, we need to now set up a dedicated domain and basically increase our email deliverability for at scale email sending. And you have two main options here. You can set up a domain, like my domain is GoSmarterFlow.com, and I could send from that domain, or you could actually still send from your Gmail with larger scale as well. So to do that through Gmail, you would hit add a service right here, and you would either select your Gmail, your Yahoo Mail, your SendGrid, or any other provider. Once you select an other provider, what this is called is it's an SMTP provider or an SMTP email sender, and you would need all of this data like the server, the port number, the username, the email, the password. And so this is a little bit more complicated, but it's definitely possible. I'm going to just show you real fast how to set up your Gmail for larger scale email sending right here. And so let me clarify right here real fast that Gmail is a great starting point and you can definitely send larger email automations through your Gmail, but there is a sending limit around 100 emails per day. So if you want to do a lot of cold email or more email sending than 100 per day, you will need to choose this third option that I'm going to show right after the Gmail, where you basically just set up a dedicated domain. But the advantage of using Gmail is that the deliverability is very high because it's already warmed up, it's very trustworthy, but again, you have that email sending limit of 100. And to connect your Gmail, all you have to do is select Gmail here. You need your email, which for me, it's just Jonathan at GoSmarterFlow.com. And then you will basically need an app password. Creating this app password can be a little bit tough, so let me show you how to do that. You'll basically go into your Google account, you'll click your little icon up here in the top right, you'll select manage your Google account. Once you select that, you'll be brought to this page. You'll go into security over here on the left, and if you don't have two-step verification on yet, you would turn on two-step verification. I do already have two-step verification on. I don't have to turn it on or off. And once you're in this two-step verification part right here, you'll scroll down and this is where app passwords is hidden. So you will create a new app password right here. You'll click on that arrow. You'll call this something like HighLevel or Smarter Flow Email Sending, and you'll hit create. Once you hit create, you'll get an app password just like this one. You'll copy this one in. I'll have to delete this one for security purposes right after this video. But you'll create it, you'll want to go ahead and save this app password somewhere basically. You'll copy it, you'll hit done. Once you hit done, it's actually created. You'll go back in here, you'll enter that in, and you'll hit save. And hopefully now you can see, boom, now I can select default provider here, my Gmail, and you can see successfully updated default provider. And now I'm basically sending larger scale emails up to 100 emails per day from my Google Workspace, Jonathan at GoSmarterFlow.com. And again, this has high deliverability, but the limit is around 100 emails per day. And by doing this, you can also enable reply tracking, which gives you better tracking when it comes to the back and forth with this email sending. So that's your first option when it comes to, again, this mass email sending through automations. And so now I'll show you the second option for mass email sending, which will basically be creating our dedicated domain. We've got send.lcmmessenger.com right now, right here, and this works. The thing is, there's many other businesses sending from this dedicated domain, and so if they're doing bad email behavior, doing a lot of spam and bulk email and just sending to unverified emails, bad behavior in the email world, it's actually decreasing your reputation as well because you're sending from the same domain. So by having your own dedicated domain, you'll have your own email reputation and email deliverability will be increased. It's as simple as that. So for that, we'll select this top check mark. We'll click on dedicated domain and IP, and we'll start by adding a dedicated domain. And so I often send from dedicated domains that are m. wherever your website is hosted. So we'll connect now this domain, GoSmarterWebsite.com, which is just a dummy domain that I don't really use. And so if your website, again, is hosted on GoSmarterWebsite.com, then you cannot also send emails from GoSmarterWebsite.com. And that's not a big problem. In that case, we just need to add a subdomain. This subdomain could be as simple as m.GoSmarterWebsite.com. It could be m1. It could be mail. It could be reply. So there's many different, or unlimited pretty much, subdomains that you can connect and send from, but it cannot be the root domain if your website is on that root domain. And sometimes if you're doing cold email and you're doing a lot of spammy stuff, you might actually want to buy another domain and send from that other domain. So instead of sending from reply.gosmarterwebsite.com, you might actually want to purchase gosmarterwebsite.net or gosmarterwebsite.co, and you might want to start sending from a completely separate domain so that you never affect your root domain. But if you're not doing, crazy email sending, you can definitely send from your normal domain like gosmarterwebsite.com. And for this demonstration, I'll just add m.gosmarterwebsite.com. We'll hit add and verify. And what happens now is pretty cool. Basically, once you see this pop up here, we could add the record manually, and we might have to in the end. But often if you hit continue, now HighLevel is basically searching for your provider, whether that's GoDaddy, Cloudflare, Namecheap, wherever you have this domain stored. And sometimes it can actually add these DNS records that we're going to add now manually. It'll do it automatically. Within seconds, it'll be connected. You didn't have to do anything. And it's pretty awesome. So sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Right now it didn't, which is not a big deal because now I can demonstrate you how you can add it manually, and that's very easy. For that, you'll just go into wherever you manage your DNS settings for this domain. For me, again, this domain is gosmarterwebsite.com, and you'll basically want to add records. So we'll select add record right here. We'll go back to HighLevel, and we'll want to add a TXT record with this value right here. So I'll copy that. I'll go ahead and select TXT right here by scrolling down all the way to the bottom, TXT. We'll put in the value that we just copied. We'll go back and we'll copy this next value that we need, and we'll go back and we'll paste that in here. And so when you copy this, you can see you don't want to copy like this. You always want to use these copy buttons and wait for that check mark, because you don't know how much is down there on the back end of it, and you might not copy it all because you saw this is a rather larger value. But that's pretty much it. We just got to add these records. We got TXT, we got the first value, we got the second value. We'll just leave this on auto and we'll just hit save. Once you do that, that's the first record, and we'll move on to the next. The next is TXT M. We'll copy the M and then this value right here. So we'll go ahead, add another record. We'll select TXT again. We'll add in the M. We'll just paste it in. And we'll move on to this last value. And we'll put that in here. And boom, that one's added as well. We'll hit save. And we'll move on to the next one. So next is CNAME email M. And I'll just go ahead and do all of these with you, but I'll do it a little bit faster. I'll select the CNAME email M. And then we got mailgun.org. And so when it comes to the proxy status for this, we'll want to deactivate this whenever you see that. We'll turn it off. I've added everything else, and I can hit save. We'll move on to the next one, which is MXM, and then it's just MXA, Mailgun, and MXB. So I'll create these really fast, MXM, M, MXA. So let's go ahead, add a record, MX, MX, MXM, and then we got MXA. And so priority, if you're also sending through your Google Workspace here, you'll want to set the priority to 9. If you're not sending through your Google Workspace with this email account, you can set the priority to 10. But for now, 9 is fine. So I'll just set it to 9, MXM, M, MXA, 9, and we'll hit save. And we'll go ahead and hit another record, and it'll be another MX, and it'll be an M again, and instead of MXA, it'll be MXB, and then we'll select 9 here again. So once you do this 100 times, you get pretty fast at it and pretty good. So this looks very good. We've got a lot of records added now, and I pretty much added everything that they were asking for here. We can hit verify records, and you can see that a lot of them say not verified. So let's hit verify domain again. And so for some reason, it's not letting me verify that domain instantly. And usually it does happen within a couple of seconds or minutes, because what happens once you set up these new DNS records, they have to propagate, they have to load. And for some reason, it just didn't let me verify it. So I'm just going ahead and adding a new subdomain from a different domain. So this is now mail00 for this domain called AI Automation Unleashed. And what I wanted to show in this scenario right here is that it's actually letting me do it automatically. So it recognized Cloudflare, GoDaddy, the big providers, and it's creating those records that we just manually added. It's creating those automatically. So now, if we go to this page, basically once you see this in the authorize button, you'll want to hit authorize. It'll pop up a new page like this one, and it'll tell you what it's going to create. You'll hit authorize right here, and now it'll add those records for you automatically. Let's try verify domain now on this domain and see if it's going to work. If it doesn't work, and you basically see these not verified here, you'll just want to refresh the page. And once you refresh the page and let that load again, you can try verifying again. So let's give this one more shot right here, right now. And here we go. You can see everything that it created automatically right now on this new domain. It says verified, except for this one. It didn't create the txt record _dmarc. So let me go ahead, refresh this page. You can see there was the DNS records that we just had. But now that I refresh it, we can see everything that basically HighLevel and Cloudflare created with each other. And so we'll go ahead, add this record, this final last little record. It was a txt. It was _dmarc, and then the last value was this one right here. And this is optional, but it is good for email sending to have this. So we definitely want to go ahead and add it. And once we add it here, we can go back and we can hit verify again. And what we're looking for is a green right there. And so that seems to have worked. And we'll hit this last verify now button right here. We'll just go ahead and, even though everything's green already, we'll hit verify domain again. And so this is what we want to see. We want to see a check mark up here. We want to see SSL issued and everything verified. Again, for some reason, it wouldn't accept this other domain, so it just went ahead and added a new domain. You can add multiple domains back here on the back end. Let's try this one more time. Let's hit verify here. Let's hit verify domain. For some reason, don't ask me why, that's the internet. It won't let me verify this domain. If that's the case, I would recommend just creating a new subdomain. So I just went ahead and switched the entire domain to automationunleashed.com from Go Smarter website, which is also just a dummy domain that I bought once. And so if you have those issues, we can definitely figure them out. Just reach out to me and I'll help you figure that out. But for now, this is looking pretty good. It's active. We've got the dedicated sending domain. We've got the SSL issued. And basically down here, you could level up one more level and get right now we're sending from a dedicated domain. You could also get a dedicated IP. And similar to the dedicated domain, the dedicated IP, right now you're on a shared IP. If you don't have a dedicated IP, you're on a shared IP. And other people are sending from this IP address. And if other people on this IP address are having bad email sending, habits and doing a lot of spammy stuff, that that IP address is also affecting your email sending. But I wouldn't worry about that. The impact of the dedicated IP is relatively small compared to the dedicated domain. So unless you're, willing to spend an extra 50, 60, 70 bucks a month for a dedicated IP, I wouldn't worry about that too much. And this is the main thing that we need, the dedicated domain. So now if we hit back to SMTP service, we'll see that we're sending from mail00automationunleashed.com, our dedicated domain. And if we wanted to switch service back to the Gmail, we could switch it back. But again, the main advantage of having this dedicated domain set up is that if we wanted to send 1,000 emails in a day, 5,000 emails in a day, 10,000 emails in a day, we could. If we're sending through Gmail, we are capped right around 100 emails per day. So it really depends on what you're trying to do with your account and how many emails you will be sending. One important thing to note about sending from new dedicated domains like this one we just set up is that you do have to warm up this domain. You can't just blast out 1,000 emails the first day. You got to start slow with sending 5 emails per day, 10 emails per day, and ramp up your email sending per day over 2 or 3 weeks. That's usually the range that people recommend warming up a new dedicated domain like this one. And if you need a more detailed guide, you can always go to help.gohighlevel.com, which is basically this official HighLevel support portal, and you can search for whatever you need help with and see what kind of help articles are created already. So here around email sending, we do have email sending guide, email best practices, and warm up. And they basically have recommendations on how to warm up an email domain and do all that good stuff that I just did. And part of this guide is email validation. So if you go back into your HighLevel account, now that we have everything set up here, under your business profile, if you're with me under HighLevel, you'll always have this on because it's just a best practice that you basically want to verify email addresses when first email is sent to a new contact. So if you're in your account, you definitely want to toggle on this toggle. It's extremely cheap, and it's just once you set it on, you can forget about it and you don't have to worry about it. Because if you don't verify your email addresses otherwise, and you send to a lot of false emails, Yahoo, Google, the big email senders, they'll notice that and you'll get hard bounces and they'll diminish your email reputation because you're not keeping the email world clean. So definitely make sure to have that checked on. And now that we did all of that setup, we can go into automation. We can send one-off emails on the contact level, but we can create workflows right here. And so basically, if we want to create nurture campaigns, like a 52-week nurture email campaign, we can leverage these pre-built email campaigns like here, that when you add the tag nurture, it triggers this email campaign. And over the course of a year, pretty much, they get multiple emails. And so you can bulk add people into these email campaigns, and you can personalize these emails for you and send 50, 100, 1,000 of these emails per day. So that's really what email is about, is sending at scale, making sure we're in the inbox and making sure everybody, once they download our lead magnet from the website, they actually receive it and they receive a confirmation. Once they book an appointment, they receive the appointment reminders. Once they take certain actions, we want to be able to communicate with them through the software. And so that's why it's crucial to set up email, SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, all of the HighLevel communication channels so that we can communicate with our customers. If you have any questions or need any help, just comment them down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.